Welcome back to day 2 of the Lab of the Future 2025 Symposium. So my name is Princess Senit, conference producer and analytics specialist here at Technology Networks. And I am pleased to introduce our next speaker, kickstarting the sessions today, Dr. Michelle Ottey from Cambridge Innovation Center. So today, Michelle will be talking about digital twins, transforming laboratory operations for a smarter future. With a PhD in genetics and a wealth of experience, Michelle has been instrumental in shaping the future of life sciences. And as the Vice President of US Labs and Centers at CIC, she's at the forefront of innovation. So a warm welcome to you, Michelle. Following the presentation, we will also have a Q&A session, and we welcome any questions that you may have. Please ask questions using the Q&A system to the right-hand side of the video player. And without further ado, I will now hand over to Michelle to begin her presentation.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here today and happy to be talking about digital twin technology and how it does, in fact, have the ability to transform lab operations. So why do digital twins matter? Digital twin technology has had a truly transformative impact on other industries, such as aerospace and manufacturing, by helping them to revolutionize their design, production, maintenance, and operational efficiency. It's so fascinating to have done research on this, to see the truly transformative power of digital twin technology. It has enabled these industries to create physical prototypes, which is typically very time consuming and costly, in a digital and virtual environment, which allowed engineers to simulate and refine designs virtually. It enabled them to iterate faster and reduce the need for physical testing. A great example of this is how Boeing and Airbus used digital twins to design aircraft components, use virtual models of engines, wings, and fuselages that are tested under various conditions to really optimize their performance and ensure safety before they even begin their production. In manufacturing, companies like Siemens employ digital twins to model factory layouts and simulate workflows, identifying bottlenecks and inefficiencies before they ever implement physical changes. One of the things that digital twins allow you to do that I'm very excited about in terms of the life science labs is manage your predictive maintenance and reduce the downtime. Integrating real-time data from all of your internet sensors that are installed on equipment that monitor your performance and predict potential failures helps you to shift your maintenance from reactive to predictive. This allows you to minimize unplanned downtime and extend the lifespan of your equipment and machinery. A great example here is that GE Aviation uses digital twins for their jet engines. By monitoring parameters, things like temperature and pressure and vibration, the system's able to predict maintenance needs ahead of a failure, which then enables them optimal engine performance and safety. I also am a big fan of operational efficiency and process optimization, and using digital twin technology can really help you to provide a comprehensive view of your systems and your workflows, which enables you then to simulate what-if scenarios to really optimize your operations without actually disrupting the real-world processes. A good example here is that automotive manufacturers have used digital twins to streamline production lines, which allows them to ensure consistent quality while they're reducing their waste and cycle times. I mentioned it helps you to improve product performance and life cycle management. You can use a digital twin to continuously monitor and improve the products throughout their life cycle. It allows manufacturers to gather data in real time, in real world use, while doing the tweaks on the back end and applying those insights to future designs. It also has the capacity to do virtual training and collaboration, increase collaboration. You can facilitate virtual trainings for engineers or operators or lab technicians in a safe, risk-free environment where they can learn and test procedures. They also meaning digital twin technology, can also enhance collaboration by offering a shared platform that individuals across global teams can work in together. A great example here is that NASA uses digital twins of their spacecraft to train astronauts and ground teams for missions. They simulate potential issues and test different solutions virtually. A big important topic that continues to come up is sustainability and cost reduction. By reducing waste in our design and production and maintenance, digital twins contribute to more sustainable practices while continuing to lower costs. A really good example here is that aerospace companies have learned through digital twin technology how to optimize fuel efficiency by using the twins to test new materials and aerodynamic designs. Basically, digital twin technology has fundamentally reshaped aerospace and manufacturing by merging the physical and digital worlds. And its ability to simulate, monitor, and optimize processes in real time has really reduced cost, increased safety, and improved product quality. All of this is really promising when it comes to the life sciences and laboratory practices. So what we're going to cover today is what digital twin technology is, how those digital twins can be applied in laboratory operations in the lab setting. I'll highlight a quick case study, a success in the life sciences, and then talk a little bit about the challenges and implementation strategies, and then talk a little bit about trends and opportunities before we get to your questions. So what exactly is a digital twin? It is, simply put, a virtual representation of a physical object, a system, or a process that is continuously updated with real-time data to simulate, monitor, and optimize your performance. It enables predictive analytics and decision-making by mirroring the behavior of the physical systems and the conditions and the life cycles of its physical counterparts. It's composed of things like sensors, the IoT, Internet of All Things, the data analytics, and is often integrated with machine learning or AI. The core functions are, as I mentioned, real-time monitoring, predictive analytics, and advanced simulation. So what can a digital twin do? It can do a lot of things, as you've heard from the introduction. But just to go over some specifics, one of the, I think, most valuable things that employing digital twin technology can do in the lab is to optimize a workflow. And it does this, as I said, by simulating a process. It enables labs to simulate a full workflow before actually implementing them physically, which allows you to proactively identify inefficiencies or bottlenecks in advance. So, for example, a lab could model how sample handling processes affect turnaround times, and they could make adjustments either in staffing, equipment placement for the optimization of movement, or really focus on reorganizing that process to reduce those bottlenecks. By doing this in the digital twin, you're testing various scenarios virtually, you're saving time, you're saving resources, and you're not interrupting your actual workflow. It's ensuring streamlined operations without disrupting those ongoing activities. Digital twins can help predict maintenance needs and reduce downtime. This is something I'm really interested in and that we're actively pursuing in our laboratories. We're integrating the digital twin and the real-time data from our sensors that are monitoring both temperature, carbon dioxide levels in our incubators, and other factors. The digital twins will then monitor the performance of the equipment and then be able to proactively predict maintenance before a failure occurs. So as I said in the beginning, you're moving from reactive to proactive, which I think everyone will agree is the better way to work. It's more efficient. A great example of how we're applying this is if an HPLC, a high performance liquid chromatography system, is showing signs of wear and tear, a digital twin could potentially forecast when that maintenance is going to be required. It would reduce an unexpected breakdown and costly delays, And we all know that when you need the equipment in the lab, you need the equipment. And so you don't want to go in and have the equipment fail. It's better to have a planned downtime for maintenance than to go in and something fail in the middle of an experiment. It's a proactive approach that's going to enhance your reliability. It's going to increase the equipment lifespan because you're doing the preventative maintenance. And again, it's going to minimize those operational disruptions. The other thing that digital twins can really do are enable virtual testing of lab layouts and experiments. It'll, even from the design stage, upstream from the design stage, you're able to test different layouts or experimental setups virtually, really ensuring optimal use of space and resources. So if upstream you're planning your, installation of a new robotic arm that's going to do sample sorting for you, you can then simulate in the digital twin the placement and functionality within your existing setup to ensure compatibility and efficiency, again, without interrupting your ongoing workflow. Researchers could also potentially model experimental conditions, changing temperatures, changing the humidity in a space to predict the outcomes and then to refine protocols and reduce the need for repetitive physical trials. Digital twins in action. I love that title for a slide. It's exciting because digital twin technology is exciting. Workflow efficiency is incredibly important in the lab. By automating and optimizing your lab processes, you're allowing your scientists to work more efficiently, and you are giving them more time to do the data analysis. By setting up your digital twins and streamlining your lab ops, by simulating and automating different workflows, you're allowing the lab to work more effectively. For example, a diagnostics lab could use a digital twin to automate sample processing sequences and reduce the human error, ensuring faster, more consistent, more reproducible results. This enhances throughput and resource allocation for complex workflows. Asset management is incredibly important. We talked about proactive equipment maintenance. By integrating all of that internet data, the digital twins are going to help you with your preventative maintenance schedules, minimizing that unplanned downtime, allowing your scientists to really work more proactively and effectively so that they're able to plan for those downtimes and do other things in those time points. I love the fact that a digital twin can help you with, for example, a centrifuge being monitored. It could flag an early sign of imbalance, which means that you can service that before it ever interrupts your experiments. Digital twins can help with safety and compliance. They do things like real-time environmental monitoring. They can monitor conditions, as I've said, like temperature, humidity, air quality in real time, and help to ensure safety and regulatory compliance in, for example, a pharma lab. The system can immediately detect and alert staff to deviations in things like sterile conditions and protect the product's integrity and your staff safety. And then employing digital twins for collaboration and design, you can do virtual walkthroughs with your remote teams. You can design and collaborate, enabling your team to explore different lab layouts or experimental setups remotely. That global research team or that team that you're partnering with in another country, you can share your digital twin and then conduct virtual walkthroughs of things like a planned clean room and come to alignment on design and functionality before you even start construction. So I thought it would be good for us to go through a success story, and GSK has employed digital twins in their biomanufacturing incredibly successfully. They are doing real-time monitoring and simulation for their bioreactors to stimulate and monitor vaccine manufacturing processes in real time. It has allowed GSK to address variabilities, optimize production parameters, and ensure high-quality outcomes, again, without interrupting their actual operations. Predictive analytics to enhance product quality is another thing that GSK has done. By integrating the machine learning or AI with their digital twin technology, GSK has been able to identify and address causes of production inconsistencies. This has allowed them to reduce errors and improve the reproducibility of their biomanufacturing processes, especially for things like adjuvants, which are sometimes added to vaccines to elicit a stronger immune response. They're able to test the quantity of the adjuvants in the digital twin environment to see what the potential outcomes could be by employing machine learning to do the analysis for that information. They've been able to reduce the time to market for vaccines, which I think we can all appreciate now post-COVID. Traditional vaccine development often requires years of testing in physical plants. With digital twins, GSK has been able to accelerate the design and testing phases through virtual simulations, shortening the timeline to bring those life-saving vaccines to market. Again, I mentioned sustainability as an important part of all of this. This technology has allowed GSK to optimize their energy uses across their manufacturing facilities by aligning their sustainability goals by reducing resource consumption and improving efficiency through production. GSK's efforts really demonstrate the transformative potential of digital twins in the pharma industry, enhancing quality and speed while minimizing environmental impact. So admittedly, there are some barriers to adoption of digital twin technology, applying it especially with machine learning and AI. The first being the high initial investment. There can be high costs associated with implementing digital twins, including things like purchasing sensors that are advanced enough, developing the digital model, integrating AI learning tools. That can be prohibitive for some organizations, especially companies in smaller scale industries, or if you have a limited budget that you may struggle to really justify the upfront expense despite the long-term potential savings. It's a real problem to integrate if you don't have the capital. Another potential barrier is integrating it with your existing systems, especially those of us who have existed for some time. We're working in our legacy systems, and those are not always easily compatible with modern digital twin frameworks. There is a complexity in integrating real-time data sources and ensuring seamless communication between the physical and virtual environments, and that can create significant technical challenges. Trust me, I'm not just going to present the barriers, I am going to present some solutions in a minute. But one other barrier, and this is very real, is the need for staff training and the potential for cultural resistance. Implementing a digital twin does require your staff to acquire new technical skills, which can be a little overwhelming. They have to learn to adapt to data-driven workflows, and this can really necessitate comprehensive training programs. Cultural resistance to change, especially in industries that are really accustomed to traditional methods, it can delay adoption and potentially even undermine the effectiveness of the technology. It takes a lot of intentional and thoughtful change management to employ something like this. Overcoming these barriers is best approached with a phased approach, starting with small pilot projects, demonstrating a tangible ROI, and then fostering an organizational culture that really values that innovation. So in order to overcome those barriers, I put together some ideas for keys, what I'm calling keys to success. I really recommend that you start with some pilot projects. Start small and smart. Focus on a pilot program to test the technology's viability and gain some early insights. For example, implement a digital twin for a specific piece of equipment or a process before you scale your larger system. If you have a successful pilot, you can build with confidence and help identify potential challenges in your organization way in advance. A way to lower some of the costs would be to collaborate with a technology provider. Partner with an experienced technology vendor and consultants who can guide the integration process. Technology providers often bring in not just expertise in sensor installation and data modeling and analytics, but they can help you with some of that change management in that they can help educate your team and ensure that smoother transition and potentially even get a quicker ROI. And really build a strong business case with a clear ROI. You want to be able to clearly articulate how the digital twin will address specific pain points in your process or in your lab. Something like reducing downtime or improving efficiency, which is going to give you that clear ROI. You want to be able to quantify the expected return on investment by emphasizing the long-term cost savings, your productivity gains, and enhanced product quality. If you're able to do this, you can prioritize high quality data and analytics tools. Having a reliable digital twin to depend on gives you accurate real-time data that's from your connected systems. If you invest in high quality sensors and robust analytics platforms, it ensures your data integrity. And then you're able to plug into the machine learning and predictive tools to really maximize the value of those insights derived from the twin. Strong data foundation leads to actionable results. We know that in the lab. Having a really well-planned strategy combining these elements increases the likelihood of a successful digital twin implementation. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to pause and having a well-planned strategy combining these elements increases the likelihood of a successful digital twin implementation while you're minimizing your risks. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of digital twins in labs. And I think one of the biggest and most important things that we can talk about, it's very big in the industry right now, is integrating with AI. The combination of the digital twin data with AI, machine learning, enables a lab to achieve smarter, faster decision-making. AI models can really analyze complex data sets from digital twins to identify trends, optimize your workflows, predict outcomes, drive more precise experiments, and efficient resource use. Another integration would be with augmented reality for things like the immersive simulations that we talked about. Digital twins can integrate with AR and allow scientists and technicians to interact with virtual representations of lab environments and processes. For example, AR goggles could provide real-time overlays of the equipment performance or guide lab personnel through a complex procedure, reducing your training time and enhancing your safety. So you're able to simulate the laboratory environment, the experiment, have them virtually perform and train rather than doing it on real-time samples, which then reduces your output. Having this immersive technology is also going to enable remote collaboration, as I've mentioned, where teams from different locations can collectively simulate and optimize their experiments. The growth of hybrid physical digital lab models is really important to talk about here. Future labs will increasingly operate as hybrid environments. We're already seeing the shift of this, where physical spaces and digital twins are going to have to work in tandem. These hybrid models are going to enable constant monitoring and simulation of the lab operations, reducing your waste, improving your sustainability. For example, researchers could conduct virtual trials of new layouts or workflows to minimize disruption in the physical lab. These types of models are also able to support scalability, allowing smaller labs to leverage digital resources for capabilities that they can't house physically, potentially connecting with other providers who have their systems set up on digital twin technology, allowing those in the smaller lab access to things that they wouldn't have otherwise. And again, enhanced collaboration and global connectivity, really important in this day and age. As digital twins are evolving, we're going to see unprecedented levels of global collaboration. Teams worldwide are going to share digital twin models to simulate experiments, exchange insights in real time, foster innovation without constraints of geography. This type of interconnectedness is also going to accelerate advancements in fields like drug discovery, personalized medicine, synthetic biology. Speaking of personalized medicine, there are personalized applications in research and healthcare that are really important to consider with digital twin technology. In healthcare focused labs, digital twins may eventually model individual patients' biological systems, enabling personalized diagnostics and treatment simulations. By partnering with AI and having the data from an individual's genomics or proteomics able to be experimented on directly through these digital twin technologies could lead to that personalized application of a treatment. This application is really promising for precision medicine, where simulations can help predict how a patient is going to respond to a specific therapy or drug combination based on specific biomarkers. Integrating AI, AR, hybrid lab models, all of this positions digital twins as a cornerstone for the next generation of lab operations, really driving innovation and efficiency while addressing challenges of security, sustainability, and collaboration. So, why do I think digital twins are going to lead the way? I think there's going to be a competitive advantage for lab providers who are employing digital twin technology. Labs that are adopting this technology are going to gain significant edge by offering faster, more reliable, more reproducible, and cost-effective services. This is an important, crucial, I would say, differentiation in competitive markets, where speed, reliability, and innovation drive client loyalty. Now, of course, we're always going to have to contend with regulatory and safety requirements. But if we can get to that step even faster, we can then go from the bench to the bedside even faster. I think that digital twins are going to enhance innovation for their clients. So digital twin technologies are going to enable labs to really simulate complex experiments or workflows virtually and reduce the trial and error cycles. I believe this will help to accelerate research and development. Clients are going to benefit from faster insights, more accurate data, improving the success rates of their drug development, their material testing, or their diagnostics. A materials lab could use digital twins to simulate how a new polymer reacts under different stress conditions, saving months of physical testing. I also think it's going to allow us to build smarter and more sustainable labs. By having the digital twin modeled of a space, you're going to be able to figure out how you can reduce your energy consumption, minimize your waste, and optimize your resource allocation. Labs are going to be able to simulate their processes and figure out the most energy efficient practice and method in order to help them achieve their sustainability goals without compromising performance. I think that some of the resistance from individuals or leaders in labs in adopting sustainability goals is that there is a fear that the output is going to be reduced and the performance is going to be reduced. But in fact, I think what we're going to see is the opposite. This aligns with our growing client and regulatory demands for eco-friendly practices and sustainability practices, which is going to help ensure the lab remains viable and compliant moving forward into the future. By leveraging digital twin technology, labs are going to become more agile, more innovative, more sustainable, and they're going to position themselves as leaders in their fields and trusted partners for clients. The technology is not just an upgrade, but it's truly transformative. It's going to set the standard for modern lab practices. So how do you start? If you have no digital twin technology employed, if you don't even know where to start, how do you even get started? So first, you want to evaluate the readiness of your lab. You want to assess your current systems, your data infrastructure, your team's capacity and capability to actually learn and employ this, and then really determine how prepared you are to adopt this technology. You want to identify where digital twins could provide the most immediate value. Things like workflow optimization, predictive maintenance, or simulation of a big lab layout. We're starting with predictive maintenance, for example. I also think it's really important start small, but think big. Pilot a project in the next year. Start with a focused pilot project to test the technology on a manageable scale. Maybe you want to monitor a single piece of equipment or one single workspace and simulate that workflow that is being employed in that space. You can then employ that, do 1 or 2 quarters worth of data collection, and compare it to previous quarters of data. I believe what you're going to see is improved output. Use that to measure your outcomes. Like, did you have reduced downtime? Did you improve your accuracy? This will allow you to really build a roadmap for broader implementation if you're able to scale in your lab. And then realize that you're not just employing a trend. This is a movement. It's becoming a competitive necessity and giving people a competitive advantage. Labs that are implementing this type of technology are really positioning themselves as leaders in efficiency, innovation, and sustainability. And if you take the first step and try to employ this, I really think you're going to see the benefits and want to scale it up. You'd be joining a growing community of forward-thinking labs that are really helping to shape the future of science and industry. And again, if you start with a small, clear vision, it'll allow your lab to reap the benefits of digital twins while preparing for a scalable, transformative integration. And to do this, I want to talk a little bit about a pilot. So I want to give you an example of a pilot project of employing digital twin technology: sample tracking and processing workflow. So we are employing a digital twin to replicate the flow of a biological or chemical sample from receipt to analysis. You want to install your sensors on the lab equipment, monitor key steps, things like sample storage conditions, the transport between stations, and then processing on automated analyzers. Some of the key features to test are the real-time monitoring of the sample location and status. It's great if you can tag something and you can actually see its movement through the space. You simulate the workflow optimizations, things like reducing your bottlenecks in sample handling or potentially reallocating resources to higher demand areas in the lab. And set up alerts for environmental deviations, something like an improper temperature or condition that for a sensitive sample. So if you're tracking your sample through movements from space to space, and you can set it up to alert you if something's out of range once it's moved out of its initial storage environment. The benefits of doing this are you're going to see the improved tracking accuracy, which is going to reduce the risk of your sample loss or misidentification. The constant tracking gives you that data so that it's almost as if you have a chain of custody for that sample as it's going through the workflow. It also gives you real-time insights that are going to help you optimize the resource allocation. So the turnaround times should reduce. It gives you the ability to then stimulate the what if scenarios. So like, what if we moved workstation 3 2 feet closer to workstation 2? How does that impact the integrity of the sample as it flows through the workstations? It also then gives you scaling potential. Once you validate your pilot project, you can expand your digital twin technology to cover more complex workflows like reagent inventory management or multi-step assay processes. It allows you to integrate that predictive analytics for maintenance of critical equipment based on these pilot findings. Doing something like this will help you in the lab to quickly realize the tangible benefits and build confidence in scaling the digital twin technology. So I hope that it's clear. I truly do believe digital twin technology is going to be critical going forward in the labs. And I hope that I've been able to demonstrate the value and the potential value for you and your lab. Now we can move on to the questions.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for opening our day 2 session. That was a very fascinating talk on digital twins. So as with all the talks, we are likely going to have lots of questions from our audience. And I can see we have received some questions already, so I'll move on straight to the Q&A. So our first question is actually quite a popular question here that was submitted earlier on. So it is about what skills should early career scientists develop to thrive in the age of automation and digitization?
This is a great question. I'm happy to answer this, but I'm going to push back and say that it's not just early career scientists that need to develop certain skills. I think that all of us need to take a moment and really look forward and see that AI, machine learning, digital twin technology is really part of future lab operations. And so whether you're early career or mid-career or late career, we all need to continue our learning. I do think if you're like early in your career, focusing on developing skills in data analysis, programming, LIMS, the laboratory information management systems, familiarizing yourself with those basic technological resources for the labs is really important, but also understanding automation tools, things like robotics and sample handling, that's becoming increasingly essential. And then having soft skills. I come from a liberal arts education, and so soft skills are near and dear to my heart. I think learning to be adaptable, collaborative, and working with a growth mindset are incredibly important, especially when you are going to be challenged outside of your area of expertise. And these things are all going to be critical to navigating and leveraging new technologies effectively.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. And I hope that has answered our viewers' question. So our next question is about the role of labs and their partners in advancing sustainable development goals, which you kind of touched on close to the beginning of your presentation. So how are labs and their partners actively working towards these global goals? Are there specific initiatives or collaborations that are making a significant impact on sustainability?
Yeah, I think, that there are many, not all, but many labs are starting to build their objectives and, initiatives and key results or their KPIs, including some sustainable development goals or SDGs. And that's great. Employing things like digital technology, working to minimize waste, with precise like resource planning is part of that. But I think that to go a step further as scientists, when you're in a position that allows you to partner with industry organizations or policymakers, that will allow you to help shape regulations that are going to encourage green technology. Engaging in advocacy, sharing success stories about employing green tech or how your lab met an SDG goal. Sorry, that's redundant. How your lab met an SDG. That's always great. Having examples of success stories is always great. And if you can show that it didn't increase cost and it increased your sustainability, that's going to be even more likely to be adopted. I think partnering with organizations that do lobbying with the government is a way that a larger organization can really contribute to SDGs. And then just keep talking about it.
Definitely. Just going back on AI again, in your opinion, what do you think is the impact of AI on laboratory operations?
Yeah, I think AI is not just impactful, I think it truly is transformative. It's already transformed lab ops by enabling, people who are really plugged in and using this to increase their predictive analytics for everything from, like, as I've talked about, equipment maintenance to automating data heavy processes. It's enhanced the reproducibility of experiments, which is incredibly important. It's also helped pharma and biotech to accelerate discovery by analyzing these vast data sets more effectively and efficiently than our traditional methods. And it really has helped to support decision making by I guess by uncovering patterns and trends that we may miss with traditional analysis. For the labs, I think it's going to mean higher throughput and reduced errors, greater efficiency, increased reproducibility. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's completely transformative.
Thank you, Michelle. I know I am aware of the time that we have left, so I'd like to talk about digital twins and just go back on that subject again. So it seems like definitely a game changer. So our question is, how do digital twins enable better decision making in scientific research and experimentation?
Yeah, so I really do believe digital twins are going to allow labs to simulate experiments and processes and workflows in that virtual environment. And that's going to provide real-time data with incredibly valuable predictive insights. It'll reduce guesswork and allow you to do that behind the scenes what if and testing, enabling researchers to really to optimize the conditions of their experiments, to troubleshoot, which is, I mean, let's face it, anybody who's done bench work, you know that like 50% of your time is spent troubleshooting, right? You're problem solving, you're looking for why an experiment's not working, why it's not going the way that you had predicted. And I think that being able to do this in the digital twin environment while you're not impacting the actual workflow and output is going to be incredibly valuable to lab processes. And I think in terms of scientific research and experimentation, it's going to allow scientists to make data-driven decisions with improved accuracy and efficiency, and potentially to have that reproducibility of the data in a way that will help them, they'll get there quicker in a way that'll help them in their publications, which is going to help with applying for grants and getting things published.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, that's definitely a great point. And I mean, while the potential is immense, there must be hurdles in implementing this technology. So, what are the biggest challenges you've encountered, and how can we overcome them?
Yeah, I mentioned that one of the big barriers to implementing a digital twin is just the potential high initial cost for the infrastructure, for the software, for the sensors and things that you need. And then, the second one I mentioned was difficulties integrating the digital twins with legacy systems, and then that need for significant staff training. I do think cultural resistance and staff training can be a hurdle, but I think all of this can really be mitigated with thoughtful change management and also those focused pilot projects and clear communication of the benefits. That initial cost, one way to sort of overcome that is to do it in a stepwise process, partnering with an organization that provides the technology, and not having to build it from scratch is one way that, reduces that cost initially, but doing it in a thoughtful, planned out, scaled way will help to reduce the initial cost and spread that out over time. As you're able to demonstrate greater ROI, you may be able to invest more of your capital that way.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. I think we have time for one more question. So I guess now I'd like to talk about the business side of things. How do you see the adoption of digital twin technology impacting the cost structures and resource allocation strategies for lab providers and their clients?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think it actually ties into what I was just saying about the scaled implementation and the ability to really demonstrate a valuable ROI. It the digital twin technology, as we've talked about today, is going to help labs to optimize their resource allocation. And that in and of itself improves your budget. It improves the way that you're spending, it improves the decision making. And then the prediction of equipment failures or the preventative maintenance, the moving from reactive to proactive, that's another way that it really helps and positively impacts your cost structure by doing that, not just the if a piece of equipment, if the manufacturer recommends that a piece of equipment receives preventative maintenance every 18 months, what you may find is that through high use, your piece of equipment may actually need it every 12 months. And so proactively, you're going to invest in a lower cost preventative maintenance rather than a higher cost, please fix this piece of equipment that went down. And so that's going to impact your budget as well. Your potentially your repairs and maintenance budget will be able to come down. And then also just the streamlining of the workflows by really optimizing how your staff is working in the space, you're able to ensure that you're building a staffing model that is cost effective. There is no replacement for the talent of human beings in the lab. This is all of this technology, whether we're talking about machine learning or digital twin technology or the combination, that does not replace our need for human beings in the lab, but it may allow us to staff more efficiently. We may be able to then determine, instead of somebody coming, instead of hiring 3 entry-level people, what we actually need is only 2 mid-level people to do this work. So it allows you then to also build really strategic staffing, which again can then impact your budget positively. So I think for clients, what it means is that you're going to potentially have faster turnaround times, reduce costs, and that all is going to allow you to operate more efficiently while you're delivering potentially higher quality results that are more reproducible.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. So any questions that we didn't have time to get to will be sent to the speaker after the event. And as with all the other talks in the event, this talk will now be available to view whenever you want for the next 30 days. That just leaves me to say thanks again, Michelle, and we'll be back soon with the next talk.